And hello, this is the Main Street Sports Show. I'm your host, Mike Kilroy. It's sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet. We have here today some of the members of the Redbank Valley football team and Head Coach Blane Gold. Thanks, guys, for being here. First off, I want you all to introduce yourself, starting with Coach Gold here, and pass the mic down because we're outside. It's our first time outside doing this show, so it's kind of an experiment here we're doing.
Yeah, as mentioned, I'm Head Coach Blane Gold.
I'm Brock Monran.
Hayden Rarick.
Drew Byers.
Braylon Wagner.
Rylan Roop.
Jackson Huffman.
All right, pass the mic back down. We'll get started talking about the season coming up. Obviously, we'll start with you, Coach. Some great seasons here over the last few years. Runs to the state championship game, runs to the Western final. A lot of wins, a lot of big numbers put up. But every year is different. You lost some guys, you have some guys back. A lot of these guys here have played a lot of football. What are your expectations for the season? Obviously, the expectations are always sky high here at Redbank.
Yeah, I think every year, no matter what the end result is, you're always looking to replace guys. These guys know that we had a very exceptional group of seniors that we lost last year, and probably one of the, when you talk about from a leadership standpoint, one of the more challenging classes to replace. So, it's our job as a coaching staff to install a game plan and install the X's and O's that we think utilize their strengths the most, and it's their job to execute those types of things. So we got a group of kids that we believe in. We believe that we have a kind of another wave of good leadership coming along, but we definitely got some big question marks that we got to try to fill.
Yeah, you're a few days in. I know you had a little bit last week. 3 days in this week. How's it looking so far? How do you feel early on? Because it's really early. Everyone's optimistic this time of year, but it's really early. What are your first impressions of this group?
Yeah, our staff is probably more on the pessimistic end at the beginning of each year. I think that probably what we've seen over the last, this is our 8th day of practicing, is probably basically what we expected to be our strong points, and what we expected to be our weaknesses are definitely our weaknesses. So what we have to continue to try to do is build on those strong points and try to strengthen the weaknesses that we've seen on the last 8 days.
Yeah, you've been doing this for a while. What do you look for in these early days? What's the kind of the main focus, the main emphasis that you and your coaching staff are looking for out of the first early days of practice, trying to get ready for a long season, you hope?
So for us, and this comes down to leadership too, we do 3 weeks of camp, and obviously I can't call that first week mandatory, but we had a full team here. We had 45 guys for the first week of camp, and we treat that first week, since we're just in helmets, we install everything that first week. That way, whenever we get to this second week and we get into doubles and we put the helmets and shoulder pads on, we can kind of hit the ground running in the way that we do things. So the first of the 3 weeks that we do, it's straight mental, it's installing, it's making sure that everybody understands what we're trying to do. And then once we get to heat week, even though we're not fully tackling and we're limiting our contact, we're still learning who wants to be physical, and we're starting to pop with the pads a little bit. And so for us, even though we got the mental stuff covered last week, a lot of stuff that we're looking for this week is, okay, can some of these guys be football players that we got to answer that question about.
Yeah, I want to talk to some of these guys. We'll start with Brock, since he's right there on your right. Last couple of years, kind of injury riddled a little bit, but when you've been on the field, you've really contributed. Healthy now? You feel like you're pretty healthy now?
Yeah, pretty healthy now.
And how excited are you to be healthy out there trying to contribute to this team?
Well, it's better than being injured. That's for sure.
Yeah, I can say that. What are your goals this year? Because, like I said, when you were on the field, you were an impact player. I'm sure you're hoping to be on the field for 10, 11, 12, 13 more games this year.
Yeah, my main goal is to make it through the season without any injuries.
Yeah. And pass it down here. Long snapper.
Yeah.
Very important role, especially in this day and age of high school football. How much pride do you take in that part of your game?
A lot. Doing it for 1.5 years now.
When you first started to now, how big of a difference has it been for you in your skill?
Oh, it's been
level?
a huge difference from then now, I feel.
How do you get into long snapping and being that kind of a player?
I've always done it through youth. I started doing it at the varsity level 1.5 years. Youth, I've always kind of done it and just found out it was somewhat easy for me. So.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little complicated with the mic. I can't go back and forth, but let's go to Drew here. Drew, obviously, you've had some big seasons. You started when you were really young. How did you learn? You played a lot as a freshman. You started games. Talk about your development there, because you've played a lot of football here for Redbank.
Back when I was a freshman, I was pushed by Aiden Orts and Ray Schreckengloss and all of them. they really instilled like a toughness in me that I still carry to this day. And I learned a lot from Ray and Boo and all those guys growing up. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
And it sounds like, we were at the District 9 Media Day last week in St. Mary's, and we talked a lot about your role kind of expanding a little bit, maybe playing a little bit more out at receiver, a little bit of a slot. How's that been going for you early in camp, and are you excited about that?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's been going pretty good. There's obviously some growing pains, but I'm doing everything that I can to get good at whatever I have to do and wherever they put me. So.
All right, pass it down to Braylon. Obviously, Braylon, if unless you're living under a rock, people know who you are with the numbers you put up over the last year and a half or so. Last year, just a phenomenal year. How do you go into trying to build on that, keep that level, maybe even surpass what you did last year?
I feel like it really just comes down to how hard we work in practice. My numbers really are based off of what everyone else does, and I can't really do any of that without them. So I really have to push guys in practice and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and like I said, you've played a lot of football and you used your legs last year. What was there something in particular you're working on this off season to kind of even add to your game even more?
I feel like my pocket presence needs to be a little bit better. Last year I kind of just like to run and like improvise. This year I think I need to stay in the pocket more and go through my reads.
Yeah, and obviously too, you lost some pretty special receivers to graduation. Mason Klaus, Owen Klaus, I know, played a little bit out there, and of course Ashton Kale, just a speedster. How important is camp working with this group who's going to have a bigger role this year, like Jackson and Rylan and some of the other guys?
It's mainly just timing. We got to get down our routes. Timing is really what we had last year, and that's what we need to get back to this year, and I'm pretty sure we're working towards that right now.
Yeah, I saw some at the end of the practice. It looked pretty sharp.
Yeah.
Are you pretty happy with where you're at right
I'm
now?
very happy. I'm really happy.
Right. Rylan? You've played a lot too in this. You were kind of a little bit of a forgotten man, but you made some big plays last year for this team. Your role is actually going to expand. You're probably going to have a little bit more of an important job. How are you entering the season looking to expand your role and to play even at a even higher level?
I'm definitely looking forward to it. Looking forward to stepping into more of a leadership role. Just basically looking forward to the season and everything that's going to bring.
Yeah, how much did you learn from the guys before you? Because it seems like we talked about this last week too. It seems like every group that's come up, the next group's gotten better, has learned from those other guys. I'm sure you learned a ton from all these guys who've come before you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Most of the stuff that I still do now, I learned from previous seniors who basically helped coach me my whole way through.
What's the big thing you're focusing on in camp and in this offseason to make yourself kind of better in this offense and even more of a threat?
Just to give 110% effort at everything to make sure that I know exactly what I'm doing and to help out some of the younger kids to know what they're doing too.
All right. Jackson, you've had an interesting course of your career. Obviously, freshman year you had the back injury. You didn't play. Last year you played some quarterback. You played some receiver. Now this year, what's your focus like this year for this team?
I think my main focus is mainly defense. That's where I kind of lived last year, was starting out at linebacker. Brock got hurt, moved to the D-line, and kind of just went from there. And that correlated into this year, starting on the D-line. And offense is definitely going to have to be a huge role. I'm going to have to step up, fill some pretty big shoes, and just do the best I can.
Yeah, what are some of the things you worked on? What are some of the things you feel like you're going to have to do to kind of, take the mantle, take the baton and run with it from the other guys before you?
I've never really been a receiver. I mean, a little bit in junior high, a little bit last year, but my route running definitely needs to be worked on. I think getting the timing down with Braylon's going to be a huge thing. Different speeds across the field. It's just going to be something we all need to work on.
All right, we're going to take our first break. This is the Main Street Sports Show. I'm here with some of the Redbank Valley's players and Coach Blane Gold, and we'll be back to talk a little bit more.
Welcome to 12 Series, a veteran-owned and operated company. Want to stand out amongst the crowd? This is the brand for you. They have apparel that ranges from cardio tanks and hoodies to sweat noggin covers. The apparel isn't just designed for the gym, it's designed for everyday life. Whether at work, the range, or at a family outing, 12 Series will turn heads. Find and like 12 Series on Facebook and Instagram.
Clarion Forest VNA believes the emotional and physical well-being of a patient is enhanced by the patient receiving care in the familiar surroundings of home. Their staff of caring professionals work closely with physicians to administer quality care to meet the needs of each individual. As a pioneer in home health care in Clarion and Forest County, Clarion Forest VNA continue to grow to meet the community's need for in-home care, offering many different services and programs to meet the patient's need. Clarion Forest VNA, located at 271 Perkins Road in Clarion. Call us toll-free at 1-800-262-2118.
Dubrook, a division of M&B Group, is your trusted local ready-mix supplier for residential and commercial projects. Dubrook provides a full line of decorative concrete, as well as concrete supplies, along with a variety of concrete tools and accessories. Dubrook can provide services large or small for residential and commercial projects to contractors or homeowners. Dubrook is here to provide you with options and ideas to make planning your next project simple. Let Dubrook help you with the supplies you need to get the job done. Dubrook is proud to support our local communities with plants in Clarion, Du Bois, St. Mary's, Butler, Evans City, Bradford, and Meadville. Call 1-844-382-7665.
No matter how cold it is outside, you can keep warm and toasty inside with a built-in-the-USA super efficient furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Affordable, quiet, and reliable. You can count on your furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
And welcome back to the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet and Dubrook. Got to mention them earlier. We don't want to leave out any of our sponsors. And we're back here with the Redbank Valley, some of the Redbank Valley football team, and Coach Blane Gold. And Coach, we talked about how these guys are working hard. How do you evaluate how the work they put in the offseason? It sounds like they were pretty dedicated and really came in ready to rock here this season.
Yeah, I think we have a mix of it. You have different levels of effort that's put in. For us, it always starts, hopefully our goal is to always be playing beyond Thanksgiving. So for us, we always say that, luckily we were able last year to play some December football. So typically we take a week or two off, and then our guys that aren't playing a winter sport, we typically pick up the weight room right away. But at the same time, too, these guys will tell you we encourage playing multiple sports. And for me, honestly, I think there's a lot of weight that's placed in if you have someone that's a three-sport athlete, and maybe they don't necessarily get to be in the weight room as much. There's still a lot that you're learning from being in that competitive environment from playing other sports. So whether it's someone like Brock that plays one sport and is lifting at 6 a.m. every morning before school, or whether it's someone like Braylon who's playing sports every single day of the year, we ask for those types of things. When we get to summertime, we maybe have a little bit of a different model than other teams. For us, we average 14 or 15 week seasons, and that's not counting camp. So when you're going 16, 17, 18 weeks, burnout's real. So for us in the summertime, we do 1 7-on-7 a week, and we do 1 run game a week, and we have a rule, no weekends. And so, some people may look at that and say, that's not a very dedicated summer. But at the same time, when you're playing 18 week seasons, which, when you look at what District 9 has looked like for the last 5 years. We're the only ones that can say that we have to consistently do an 18-week season. We do our best to keep them involved in the summertime, but we also want them to be kids and enjoy their summertime too, and make sure that we're not burning them out in football.
Yeah, you like those long seasons because it means you're successful, but also it has to change, right? What you do in the off season, you can't beat them up too much, can you?
Yeah, and obviously, we believe that we have a standard. Obviously, weight rooms open every single day, but we believe that we've got a pretty good equation in place that if we get our skills guys together 1 day a week, and if we get our run game together 1 day a week, then we're seeing everybody on the team 1 day a week. Some of these guys cross over, like Braylon goes to both, Drew goes to both, some other guys go to both, but for the most part, if we can see those guys once a week and we can give them their weekends and give them their time, you got someone like Braylon and Jackson and Drew played baseball this year. They're playing state playoff baseball games into June. So you got to give kids a little bit of time to breathe, and we're a big believer of that. And hopefully they get to us in the summertime or in when school starts and they're rejuvenated and they're ready to go.
Yeah, it was a short summer for sure. We talked last segment about these guys kind of stepping up into those key roles on the outside and the slot. You can't replace guys like Mason Klaus, Owen Klaus, Ashton Kale, Ashton George, some of these guys who meant so much to this team. But like we said last week, it seems like every group that's come up has been up to the task. You see that again, and how do you keep kind of shuffling the deck and bringing new guys in and having them play so well? Because you've been doing that for years now. It's a pretty good skill. I
think one thing that we do as a coaching staff, if you listen to Bill Belichick, he talks about a lot about, fitting your system to the players that you have. And in the 5 years that I've been there, we've done that every year. In 2020, when Kobe Bonanno graduated, Kobe basically took away, one half of the line of scrimmage for us defensively. We couldn't replace Kobe, so we had to change the way we looked at things defensively. Insert Joe Mansfield for his senior year. You can't replace a Joe Mansfield. You can't replace a Chris Marshall, a Marquise Gardlock. So we really emphasized the play of our slots that year with Aiden Orts and Tate Minnick. Obviously we didn't have that type of speed from two guys in the middle, so we took advantage of Mason Clout's route running and Ashton Kale's explosiveness. And this year we don't need any of these guys to be Ashton or Mason. We just need them to be the best versions of themselves, and collectively we got to try to find ways to make that work. And that may mean that we're not scoring on average 55 points a game, but at the end of the day, how can we put together a game plan to win? And so, we reinforce to these guys all the time. I don't need Ryland to be Ashton. I don't need Jackson to be Mason. I just need them to be the best versions of themselves.
Yeah, it's hard to recreate some of those numbers as you put up last year, and it would be kind of an injustice to try to expect them to do that. So, obviously, you would like to see that. And now on the flip side, on defense, you also lost some key players there. And I know every year you have to adapt, and I know you're adapting this year. Talk about how that's going, because that's kind of an interesting thing. I know you don't want to talk too much about it, but you are kind of experimenting a little bit or pushing the envelope a little bit.
Yeah, I think that when you look at us, and even offensively and defensively, I believe that as far as single A football is concerned, we have the toughest schedule in District 9. I don't think anybody has the type of schedule that we have. So for us, we always have to consistently think of ways of how can we be creative, that we're not staying vanilla in the way that we look at things. I know my first year here, we were running a 4-4, then we went to a 4-2-5. Last year, we kind of had different versions of various types of different defenses, including a kicker playing defensive end. So for us, it's all about trying to make the pieces fit. We're not going to venture too far from what we do, but, for us, we think that there's some things that we can do outside of the physical play, where hopefully these guys that have been involved are ready to take that game to the next level, to the mental aspect, and hopefully some of those things can click for us.
And we talked about Brock being healthy and what impact he can make, and Jackson on the other side. You have to be pretty excited about having Brock back at potentially full strength for a season, because like I said, when he was healthy and playing, he was an impact player out there for you.
Yeah, we've always built our defenses around the defensive line. Obviously, Joe Mansfield, Kobe Bonanno, Brandon Ross. After that, this year, the entire defense is built around Jackson and Brock. So, obviously, I echo Brock's goal of staying healthy for the entire year, because, obviously, when you look at charts of defensive linemen, they're not going to be the biggest or the heaviest that you see, but I believe with their combination of power and speed, they're two guys that I wouldn't trade for anybody.
And Brock, how excited? I mean, it sounds like you're going to be kind of unleashed with you and Jackson. Is that kind of your wheelhouse? Is that what you want to do? Just kind of be that guy who can just go after the quarterback, contain that side of the field?
Yeah, I really like the defensive line. I like to have the freedom to kind of do what I want.
And I'm sure you've learned from those guys coming up. What's the biggest thing you've learned from those guys before you who excelled out there?
I do remember Joe, learning some things from him, some pass moves, some rushing stuff, and I think that helped me out a lot.
Yeah, have you worked on any new moves, or is there anything you're going to do this year maybe different to try to elevate what you've been doing?
Not really. I've just been lifting a lot, trying to get stronger. That'll help with the pass rush and run run game too.
All right, pass down to Jackson here. I know we're gonna pass the baton here. I'll talk to him about the defensive line. Same thing with Brock. Are you looking forward to kind of being that guy on the other side to go get the quarterback, chase down ball carriers, make this defense as good as it was last year?
Oh, definitely. It's one of the most exciting parts of the game. I wouldn't want anyone else on the other side of the line with me. I feel like we both play a very similar type of game, and it's just how it works out.
And what are some of the things you've worked on to improve your game out there?
I'm definitely not as strong as Brock, but I'm still trying to be somewhat as strong. But watching Brock go through reps and trying to do the same thing as him, technique and all kinds of stuff, has just helped tremendously.
Now, do you have competition, like strength competition in the weight room with him? So how do you know you're not as strong as he is?
I wouldn't call it much of a competition. Brock kind of blows everyone out of the water on the team, but yeah, there is definitely competition in practice. He's my partner, and we butt heads a little bit, but it's all just a game to us at the end of the day.
Well, it makes you better, right? You have to feel like it makes you better. So, we're going to take another break. This is the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet in Dubrook, and we'll be back for one more segment with these guys, and we'll be right back.
Hey Julie, nice deck. Did you get that at Tio Nesta Builder Supply?
It's Tio Nesta Builder Supply, and yes, Dave, I did.
Wonder if they sell siding and roofing at Tio Nesta Builder Supply.
It's Tio Nesta, and yes, Tio Nesta Builder Supply has that too. Come on, Dave. You've never been there? They have 2 showrooms for anything home improvement. Mom got a custom kitchen there. Bill down the street got the materials for his garage. They have this awesome website, www.tionestabuilders.us. You can buy online. They really have everything for the home.
Wow, I'm heading over to Tio Nesta. I know. Tio Nesta Builders.
Tio Nesta Builder Supply Home Improvement Center. Family owned and operated since 1958 with locations in Tio Nesta and Shippensville.
That sounds good. I'll check them out online at tionestabuilders.us.
Hi, my name is Jason, and welcome to Sweet Basil. Come on in.
And welcome back to the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet in Dubrook. One more segment here with the guys from Redbank Valley and Coach Blane Gold. We're going to make this a fun, quick one. We'll start with you, Coach, since you have the mic. I gave you a few minutes to think about this. What's one thing someone who might not know you would be surprised to know about you?
Probably 2 things. One, I'm thinner now than I was in 7th grade. So I used to be, we'll say, chunky back in the day. And then probably on top of that, I've run and finished 3 marathons. So typically that doesn't fit the persona of a football coach, from an appearance and a in shape standpoint, but that would be probably my best answer.
I did not know that you ran marathons. That's great. All right, Brock, you're on the clock.
So mine's going to be my right thumb is significantly shorter than my left thumb.
Okay, you got to show us now.
All right. Jeez.
Wow, it is significantly shorter. I don't know. Can we see that? His right thumb is significantly shorter than his left. All right.
I love to cook.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
Definitely good cheeseburger.
Good cheeseburger.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right. It's your turn, Drew.
I can sing, and I've slept with a teddy bear every day since the day I was born.
You still
do.
You still
I still
sleep with a
do.
teddy bear.
Yep. To this day, it's
okay. What's the name? What's the teddy bear's name? It has to have a name.
It really doesn't. It's just like bear. Sometimes
Bear?
I call it Barry. Yeah.
Barry the teddy bear.
Yeah, you
Okay.
kind of sleep on him. He's like a good headrest. So.
Okay, I got you. Braylon's still digging.
I'm gonna say the same thing as Hayden over here. I like to cook. I like to bake. I like to do stuff like that with my grandma. So yeah.
I'm gonna ask you, what's your favorite thing to cook?
Really anything, to be honest. Like, doesn't really matter to me.
All right.
I'd have to say I'm a huge chess guy.
Oh.
I love to play chess, and just pretty much anything with strategy.
Okay, that's cool.
I can juggle.
You can juggle. I wish we had something for you to try to juggle to show us, but we don't. So we're just going to have to take your word for it. So, all right, pass it back to Blane. Then we'll get you guys out of here. I know you have another practice after this, so appreciate you guys sticking around and hanging out with us for our show. And Blane, thank you again for everything you've done with us. You've been very accommodating to us here at EYT Media. So this has been the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet and Dubrook, and we'll see you tomorrow at Central Clarion. We're doing their camp tomorrow. So until then, have a good night.
Protect your home or business from all those sneaky pests. Give Hugh Henry's Pest Management a call at 814-316-1875 or check them out online at bugguy.com. Pest Management, where nature and technology meet.
Throughout West Central Pennsylvania, people are losing their glasses. Well, they haven't really lost them. They just don't need them anymore. Thanks to the amazing LASIK surgeons at Laurel Eye Clinic. Call Laurel Eye Clinic and schedule your free consultation.
You can afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kale's Kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kale's, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
Have a great day.